offensive coordinator Rick Bowie. We'll just jump right into questions. Jeff, do you want to kick it off?
Sure, Rick. Just along the lines of what I asked Tyson about having that bye week for Rodney, knowing that he's going to start. Are you able to do a little bit more with him? Is preparation a little different? I mean, how does it affect him?
Yeah, not much. I mean, I just think time can be good or bad. So I think that having a little extra time, a couple more extra reps. Obviously, we treat bye weeks pretty similar. You start with yourself, look in the mirror, see if there's anything the defenses would see in you, and then secondarily, turning the page and getting extra reps against your opponent. That can help. We get able to give him a couple different looks versus some of our top stuff and lead to some comfortability. So, he's done a great job with that, as all the quarterbacks have.
With your number of midweek games, you've had several mini open days in addition to the one you had last week and the one earlier in the season.
Correct.
Has that kind of worked out pretty well for you guys?
Yeah, no doubt. I think the schedule worked out pretty good for us. You know what I mean? I think you had these little small breaks in the middle where you get a bunch
9 or 10
of
days.
Yeah, to get some self-searching going and figure out what people see in you. Those mini buys are effective, and then you get used to having a little bit more time to prepare, which is something that players and coaches can get used to, the process in which we attack those, and that's not going to change any of those given buys. So just gives you more practice at it.
You talked a lot about diversification of skill sets with your team. When you look at this receiving core, I was looking at a stat. When Matt Henry or Katie Hutchinson have 5+ catches, you guys are undefeated. And I think it's 4-0. Either of those receivers hit that statistical mark. What's so important that those two guys do for your offense to be so successful?
Yeah, it's a player's game. That's another thing you hear me saying here quite a bit. It always will be a player's game. And I think that the nature of my job and our job as an offensive staff is to make sure that those players are getting the ball and getting those touches. So I think that happens in a couple different ways. I've said in here that throughout the process of the offense, there's some organic touches that happen, but it's also important to make sure that on your call sheet, you've got things that you feel pretty good about this ball getting to a particular player, those two in particular. So obviously they've earned that right. They're playing pretty well at times, and they give us some explosiveness when we need it. So I think that you have a little bit of both. There's the organic touches throughout the process of the offense, and then there's also those ways where you feel pretty good when you get this play call that ball's going to end up in one of those person's hands. So it's a balancing act.
Coach, it was a nice moment finishing off our conversation with Helen, him talking about this senior class and how he's really enjoyed coaching this group of guys.
Sure.
For you, being this your first year at Western, how nice has it been to get to know that class, especially one that Coach is speaking so highly of?
Yeah, no doubt. It's a special group down there in that locker room, special group of young men, and I particularly think highly of this group for bringing me in. You know what I mean? Some of these guys have been here for many years prior to me getting into this culture and accepting me, and I mean the buy-in's been pretty spectacular offensively, and so that's a testament to the players as well as our coaches and our offensive staff. So accepting me and buying into what we believe offensively and kind of running with it has been a seamless transition through the leadership of Coach Helton. So it's a special group, and like you said, those things are great. We also got to go play a game, so you want to make sure that you're not losing too much distraction on that as well.
Rick, you've got the advantage of two really talented quarterbacks with a lot of potential. Mav came in with some fanfare and 3 conference players of the week. You see that they get along. I mean, they work together. I mean, you know Mav as well as anybody. Just how's he? You got 3 games coming up and possibly a 4th in a month.
Yep.
No more breaks now.
No doubt. No doubt.
Just what do you see from Mav right now where he is?
Yeah, I think he's in a good spot. I've said in here many, many times about the depth that we have the access to in this program, and I don't see that any differently. We have great depth in the quarterback room. There's a great buy-in to what we do and what we believe, and Maverick's a huge part of that. I think that the ability to have multiple guys that we're going to need in multiple position rooms to go try to make a run is what it takes.
And that's your room.
Yeah, certainly. And that one, but they're all kind of ours too. Right. You know what I mean? So quarterback. Yeah, actually, that's where I spend most of my time is with those guys, and so that's undoubtedly they've done a great job of that, and they know that ultimately they're 2 really great young men. That whole quarterback room, they're not the only 2 in there, and they know the pride that it takes to prepare to play this game at a high level. And I think
you're in there 4 or 5.
Yeah, 5 of them. Yeah, and so with that, they're all kind of fighting and competing day in and day out as those 2 that get mentioned more than anybody else, given the amount of reps that they've played. But that's the nature. You know what I mean? I mean, competition's a good thing in all rooms. I've said it. I've talked about other position groups. Quarterback is no different, and Mav's done a great job with that. as has Rodney. I mean, a lot's talked about that component. It's going to take both of them in some capacity to go make a run and do what we've talked about since the offseason. So looking forward to being a part of it.
Coach, despite Middle Tennessee's record, they've played a lot of close games. Is there anything that jumps off the page for you that you guys definitely need to accelerate come Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, you look at this defense where obviously I spend most of my time looking at them, and this is an extremely talented group. They do a really good job stopping the run, which is the first thing that you notice. In terms of the front and the front seven, they're as talented as anybody in our league. They pose a bunch of problems with their athleticism. They're an aggressive bunch. They're going to try to outnumber you quite a bit, and so that causes problems. I mean, in terms of defensively, you're looking at a pretty impressive group. They do a great job, like I said, stopping the run, which is where you're always going to start, so that's naturally an impressive group. Obviously, they're led by a defensively minded head coach who's had a ton of success at a lot of different spots. So it definitely poses a lot of great opportunities to go compete against an impressive group, and I'm looking forward to that opportunity.
Just looking at the slow starts again, too, after kind of breaking out against La Tech with a quick start with Rodney out there, back to it against New Mexico State, I think the first school with about 3 minutes left in the first half.
Sure.
Was it gratifying to see Rodney kind of deal with that early trouble that he had and find a way to succeed? And what does that say about the offense as a whole that you guys are able to make some adjustments after that?
Sure, yeah. I mean, I think you go in with a plan, and then you are always sort of adjusting to what the defense gives you throughout the course of a game. So, I think a lot of it's just going to come down to basic execution of the things that we believe, but certainly the ability to adapt in certain areas gives us an advantage. So, really pleased with the way Rodney responded in that particular game. I think he was pretty consistent throughout, but definitely gave us areas where he was able to make some plays down the stretch to see the offense, I would say, executed the way we intended to be.
And that kind of has been a thing this year. For the most part, you guys have had a lot of slow starts, but oftentimes you do find a way to get the offense going. Mm-hmm. Is that just kind of the trait of this offense a little bit at this point?
Yeah, I don't know about that. I think that ultimately you always want to start fast, you want to finish fast. I mean, it's the important part of playing an entire game. I mean, look, it takes a significant amount of competitive focus for a long period of time. I mean, you're out there for a while, and I think our guys have done a good job understanding what that takes. You always want to start fast, but you want to finish fast. I don't think you want to pick one or the other. So it's always just about getting the execution of what we believe done early as well as late. So I think that's something that you're always working towards.